Hi, and welcome back to Road to Reliance. I'm Annie. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you've already subscribed, then welcome back. So today, I've been doing a lot of videos on dehydrating food, potpourri, things like that. But today I wanted to do something a little more simple, and that's to freeze some food. I went to the farmer's market and I bought some yellow squash. And what I want to do is I want to freeze this in a way that when I go to cook it, it's going to taste like fresh squash. So all you are going to need today is your squash, which is what I have here, a cutting board and a knife. You're going to need a container or a tray lined with parchment paper or waxed paper, whichever you prefer. You can use a metal tray, you can use a glass tray. I'm just using glass casserole dishes. And what these dishes are for me to flash freeze my squash. So I have one more here to show you exactly what I do. I just simply cut the ends off, set them aside for my compost pile, and then I'm going to slice these into very thin, but not too paper thin slices. So I'm going to do that now, put them in the bowl, and then we'll move on here. I wanted to tell you that in my last video, I had told you I was going to can squash, and I have decided not to do that. And I'll tell you why. Because yesterday, Lance's niece was here. I was working. I had let the dogs out. I had gone outside. I heard her yelling from in the house, Annie, Annie, Annie. And when I came back in the house, there was this humongous snake in my kitchen, on the floor, right by my microwave. Freaked me out to no end. You know, I was born a city girl. I love the country, and I don't mind snakes when they're outside, not in my house. Anyway, I had to call Lance home from work in a panic, and I was not nice about it at all. But he had to come home and carry it out, and I kid you not, Lance is like 5'8", 5'9", 5'10" maybe, but he picked the snake up by his tail, held it up this high, and it almost hit the floor. So if you go on my personal Facebook page, you'll actually see the video of him taking it out. Just excuse me yelling in the background because he dropped it like, I don't know, 30 feet from the house, and I didn't like that. I thought he needed his head chopped off, but we don't always kill things, and I get that, but you know, it was a snake. So anyhow, I decided not to can today because I'm still kind of freaked out in the house. So I have my tray here lined with parchment paper. I have all of my squash cut up into small pieces, and all I'm going to do is lay this in these trays so that they don't touch, just like I was making cookies. You know, you just lay your cookie rounds down and just kind of fit them all in there. So that's all I'm doing here. I'm going to put all these in here. When I get through with this first layer, this is the nice thing about squash because they come in all little sizes. And you know, I always try to give you guys like a tip. You could give me one, like how to cut evenly, because I so don't. Anyhow, once I get one layer in, now I'm using this parchment paper. Listen, I've had this for years. I don't even know if you can buy it like this anymore, but they're like pre-cut sheets, and they're perfect for this. So once I get one layer in, I'm just going to lay some parchment paper on the top to make sure that this layer of squash does not touch the other layer. And then I am simply going to repeat the process. Now I'm going to do this with all of the squash in my bowl. And then I am going to set this tray and probably another one into the freezer. Now, I know that some people just kind of lay this in the freezer and then just let it get kind of hard, but I'm not going to do that. I was watching a video of a lady that's all she does is freezing food so that it comes out and tastes like fresh when you do it. And she did not do that. She just simply laid these in here, stacked them up. But when she put them in the freezer, she actually let them stay in the freezer until they were completely frozen. So we are looking for completely frozen squash here, not just hard and cold. We want them literally frozen. So I'm going to stack these up layer upon layer, and I'm trying to do this quick so that I can get these in here without having to keep stopping recording and re-recording these. This is a really good way, and I am going to do another video. Actually, I think I'm going to do it for next week so you guys can see how to cook this so that it tastes like you actually used fresh squash. And I have done it before, and it comes out wonderful. This is another, if you didn't catch on, I'm always cooking things Lance likes, and this is another one of his favorites. The man could eat squash every single day. So they had a good deal on this. I think it was like $1.99 a pound. So I just bought some. I didn't go overboard because there were a lot of other things. I spend a lot of money at the farmer's market, like stupid amounts of money. But they grow everything right there. It's not brought in, so it's their food. So I know that, you know, I'm feeding my man and myself fresh, healthy, no pesticides and garbage in my food every time that I cook when I use things from them. So hopefully soon I can find a meat market that does the same thing with pasture raised beef and pork, chicken, things like that, so that I can continue to do that with our meat supply also. Right now we kind of buy it from a local guy in town, and I mean, I won't lie to you, I don't really know where it comes from, but the meat looks really good. So we do purchase it from him. It is a good price. They do cut it for you, which is very hard to find anybody that does that anymore. You want to make a lot of money, I guess, be a butcher, because they're hard to find. Anyhow, okay, so this is done. This is a whole tray, and all I'm going to do is take it over here to my freezer. I don't put anything in this freezer but ice, so there's nothing in there. I'm going to let that freeze rock hard, and then when it's hard and frozen, I'm going to bring it back out. I'm going to dump it into freezer bags, and then I'm going to freeze it. So I'll be back, and I'll show you that final process as soon as this is done, and I'll let you know how long it took for that tray to get frozen. So I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I have all of my squash out of the freezer. They are frozen solid in rings, and all I'm going to do now is take this bag, drop them all in here. I'm going to fill this bag to the absolute top brim, and once these are in here, I am simply going to seal the bag up and throw them in the freezer. Now, when I go to use them, it's going to be like French fries. You can just take them right out of the bag and drop as many as you need into oil and fry them. Cut them up into your recipes, however you want to do them. Like I said, I am going to do one more video about squash. That should be the next one coming out. So if you're watching this one, you know, after I made that other one, then it'll be the video after this one. If not, look for it next week. Like I said, all I'm doing is pulling all of this parchment paper out of here, taking all of these, throwing them into this bag, and then I'm just going to squeeze some of the air out of it, and I'm going to throw it right in my freezer, which I will show you right now. Okay, the squash is in the bag. I'm going to squeeze these shut. I'm going to squeeze most of the air out of it. Seal the rest of it. Flatten it out a little bit. And I have one bag of frozen squash ready for the freezer. All you got to do is take it out and cook it. So that is today's video. I know it's a quickie. I'm super busy. I've got dishes to put away, things to wash, gardenia blooms to pick again so I can finish my potpourri. And that's all I got for you. So I will see you next week on how to cook these bad boys up, make them taste like fresh. Hope you have a good week. Bye now.